The Pitchsider. Pitchside for every game.
Hello and welcome back to the Pitchsider Podcast. Busy week this week. A lot of football from the Women's World Cup to non-league to the Premier League and all of the Europe being back, as well as the transfers, some transfer records being broken, some rumours about this as well. Definitely a lot going on in the footballing world to bring you up to date with. So let's get started. Let's get started with this week. The biggest news from this week, obviously, is the World Cup of the Women's. Let's get on to talking about this. This is something we normally don't mention women's unless it's a big game. So we can talk about the Women's World Cup final, which happened today, of recorded on Sunday from Australia. England made it through after beating Australia to the World Cup final for the first time, as they want to win this trophy for the first time as well. However, their wait will go on as Spain deservedly triumphed in the final in Sydney. The Lioness looked to become the first English senior side to win the trophy since the men's team did it in 1966 and win the World Cup, but unfortunately they suffered heartbreak to the Spanish side. English players fell to their knees and as the final whistle went, and Saints celebrated in their penalty area after dealing with the final kick from the corner in the 14th minute. It was a very good game. England should have scored a few chances, but it was very good for women's football. Definitely built on the success of the Euros a couple of years ago from the women's, and definitely something to be proud of and to keep going forward. We'll bring a few more people to the game, especially as probably a lot of people watch this game, as it was early on Sunday morning, about 11 o'clock kicked off here. Getting to the final for two successful finals is very good for the English women's. They look to build on this, and hopefully next time they come to the World Cup, they can win it. But time will tell, and their now focus will be back to Europe as the teams they go back to Europe. The Golden Glove, Epps won the award for best goalkeeper of the tournament. She made some very stunning saves and probably one of the man of the matches. It's going to be interesting. But definitely a good game to watch. Definitely something to keep an eye out. Women's football is definitely going to be growing in the game. Overall, good tournament. Some good goals, some good moments. Keeping was very good. Normally, sometimes this gets a bit of criticism from a lot of football fans, but definitely looks to have built on that. Definitely good goalkeeping. Some very good goals if you go and watch some of the tournament highlights. Definitely a bit of controversy in there as well. Very good World Cup overall. And congratulations to Spain and commiseration to the English Lionesses. Let's get on to some Premier League football. It was the second week back. As the time of recording last week, we had the Manchester United game, which they beat Wolves 1-0. Let's go around this week's fixtures. So on Friday night, we had Nottingham Forest versus Sheffield United, which ended 2-1. In the Premier League, we had on Saturday, we had Brentford. They beat Fulham 3-0. Liverpool came 3-1 to Bournemouth. Luton versus Burnley got suspended due to Luton not having a home stadium yet while it's re-renovated. Brighton won 4-1, scoring 4 goals successfully since 2 goals on 2 games in a row now. Tottenham beat Man United and Manchester United beat Newcastle 1-0. On Sunday, Aston Villa beat Everton 4-0 and West Ham beat Chelsea 3-1, which West Ham were not the team on top. On Monday, we will have a London derby of Palace versus Arsenal as this podcast is released. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But overall, in the table, of the Premier League. Brighton remain top with 6 points, as well as City. Brentford and Liverpool make up the top 4, with Tottenham, West Ham and Newcastle making the top 7. Crystal Palace and Arsenal are 8th and 9th, both winning their first game, so the winner will join either Brighton or City. Down in the relegation zone, you've got Everton, Wolves, both losing their first 2 games. Burnley and Luton, which will be a big game. Chelsea just sit above them after getting a draw and a loss, just with Bournemouth. But Chelsea look hopefully to bounce back with all their signings they have made, which we'll get on to a bit later. But yeah, the Premier League's starting to take shape. Won't obviously know until a couple more games into the season. But yeah, definitely an interesting one. Some high scoring goals so far. Some good goals. A lot of sending off with the new rules about kicking the ball and some red cards. So I think there was about 4 this weekend. So yeah, quite a lot to contend with. But yeah, it's been a good opening couple of weekends for the Premier League. Some upsets, some shocks, especially from Brighton, but it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, some of these teams have played 2 hard games, and some have played an easy and a hard, and some played quite easy games, depends on where they are in the league. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, when we get into 5-6 games, where the table will start to be shaken up. But yeah, definitely watch out for Brighton, one of the dark horses, and they seem to be the top scorers so far, so it's going to be interesting to see. Losing Moises Caicedo definitely hasn't affected them. But yeah, as we get into the season, we'll start to know who are the top 4 candidates and who's going to be likely to get Champions League, whether England will get this elusive 5 teams in Champions League as we get new formats next year, which we'll probably get onto later on further down the line. Be interesting to see. Let's go quickly down League 1, League 2 and Championship. Won't go through all the games there, but definitely just bring you up to speed with the tables. Starting with the Championship. So Ipswich and Leicester are still unbeaten with 9 points, with Norwich, Brighton, Southampton and Preston North End all making up the playoff spaces. Rotherham United, Middlesbrough and Sheffield Wednesday are at the bottom of the table. So this is after 3 games. So it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up. Obviously, you've got the 3 teams coming up. So Leicester look to be have bounced back really well. Ipswich as well looks to be a team that's coming up. Southampton obviously in the mix, but they've lost a few big players now, losing James Ward-Prowse and Livramento. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, be good to see Ipswich up in the Premier League. Maybe Burnley, Preston North End. Haven't seen these teams for a while in the Premier League, so be good to see. But they're still on hot and heels from Hull, Stoke City, Watford. Leeds seem to be really struggling back down in life in the Championship. 2 points from 3 games, 2 draws and 1 loss. So yeah, it's not a good start to them. Looking at League 1, Cambridge, Bolton, Peterborough, Oxford, Stevenage and Portsmouth all make up the top 6 after 4 games. Every team has been beaten. No team has won all 4 games. Portsmouth, Blackpool all remain unbeaten, so it'd be interesting to see how these go. But yeah, definitely look to be in good shape. Very tight at the top with 5 teams on 9 points after 4 games. Looking down, Fleetwood, Cheltenham Town, Leyton Orient and Burton Albion all are in the bottom, looking to go down to League 2. Definitely starting to take shape. Obviously, you can see how this takes shape with the teams that you would expect to be up there taking shape now after 4, maybe 5 games. So this is how the Premier League will sort of take into effect. League 2, Gillingham are top after winning all 4 games. Milton Keynes and AFC Wimbledon also are pushing with them. And then in the playoff spots, you have Accrington Stanley, Salford City, Borough and Morecambe, with Doncaster Rovers and Colsham United in the relegation. Finally, looking at the National League, Barnet are in the top, is winning. You have Salcombe Moor Chesterfield up in second and third, and having 10 points after 4 games. Hartlepool, Wealdstone, Gateshead and Maidenhead all remain 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Down in the relegation zone, you've got Dagenham Redbreaks, Oxford City, Bromford and York City, all in the relegation zones, with Dorking Wanderers and Eastleigh looking close to joining them. But yeah, it's looking very tight in a lot of leagues, so still looking good. Let's have a look now at Europe, with all of the leagues now fully back in action. We can have a look at some of the leagues. So let's start. Let's take you through all of the games that have happened this weekend. So starting with Bundesliga, we had Bayern Munich win 4-0 over Werder Bremen. In La Liga on Friday, we had Marseille versus Mainz, which has ended 2-2. In La Liga, we had Mallorca, and they lost to Villarreal 1-0. And Valencia won 1-0 to Las Palmas. On Saturday, in the Bundesliga, Leverkusen beat RB Leipzig 3-2. But Borussia Mönchengladbach drew to Augsburg 4-4. Hoffenheim lost to Freiburg 2-1. Stuttgart beat Bochum 5-0. Wolfsburg beat Heidenheim 2-1. And Borussia Dortmund beat Cologne 1-0. In La Liga, Montpellier beat Lyon 4-1 and PSG drew to Toulouse 1-1. In Serie A, Hellas Verona beat Empoli 1-0. Napoli beat Fiorentina 3-1. Fiorentina beat Genoa 4-1 and Inter Milan beat Monza for 2-0. In La Liga, Real Sociedad drew to Celta Vigo. Real Madrid beat Almeria 3-1 and Atletico Bilbao beat Osasuna 2-0. Union Berlin in the Bundesliga on Sunday beat Mainz 4-1 and Frankfurt beat Darmstadt 1-0. In La Liga, Lille beat Nice 2-0. Brest beat Le Havre 2-1. Lorient and Nice drew 1-1. Rennes beat Clermont 2-1. Currently, Monaco are beating Strasbourg 2-0, and Lens and Rennes are yet to play. In Serie A, Roma are drawing to Sanitania 2-0, and Atalanta are beating Sassuolo 1-0, with Lazio and Lecce to play, and Juventus and Udinese. Gentoa versus Getafe in the Liga is winning 1-0. Barcelona and Celtic are drawing 0-0 currently, and Real Betis and Atletico Madrid are yet to play. Looking forward to Monday. As of recording this, you have games of Cagliari versus Turin, or AC Milan versus Bologna in Serie A. In La Liga, you also have Seville versus Ounce and Real Vallecano versus Granadata. So yeah, a lot of good games. Let's go through some of the tables. In Ligue 1, Monaco are top after 2 games with Brest, Montpellier and Lille. PSG, after getting 2 draws so far, had Mbappe back for the first game, sit 11th. Nantes, Lyon and Caen also are sitting at the bottom. So yeah, starting to take shape a little bit. Obviously, a few teams need to pick up some wins. Obviously, PSG probably will get back into their stride and start winning in this competition. So watch out for them. Definitely start to watch their games as their squad of their rebuild starts to get together. Obviously, keep an eye out for Strasbourg. They've got a lot of Chelsea academy players. But yeah, Monaco doing really well after selling a few players, getting some players in. So yeah, definitely ones to watch out for, and whether they can win the league this season would be interesting to see. In the Bundesliga, Stuttgart are top with Bayern Munich, Union Berlin, Wolfsburg in making up the top 4, with Leverkusen and Freiburg in the top 6. Obviously, do take this account. This is after 1 game in the Bundesliga, so obviously we do need to keep. This is the first weekend, whereas Ligue 1 and the Premier League, they've played 2 games. Mainz, Werder Bremen and Bochum all remain bottom. with the biggest goal difference. In La Liga, after 2 games, Real Madrid are top with Valencia. Obviously, Barcelona are yet to play, but Barcelona have played and they got 2 draws so far. So yeah, not the blistering start they want to get on with, but yeah, definitely good for Real Madrid. Obviously, Jude Bellingham now signed for them. Valencia also having good with Gano and Calcer, getting a couple of wins and draws. So yeah, definitely good to see. Alvarez, Getaday and Almeria need to start picking up some points. Otherwise, they do remain vulnerable to go down. But Seville, definitely a team that needs to start stepping up. They've got 0 points after 1 loss. But don't forget they have a game in hand to play, which they will play tomorrow. And finally, with Serie A, again, do have to take into account this is after 1 game. Fiorentina, Napoli, Inter Milan and Atalanta are all top. Juventus obviously still haven't played, but they are likely to have a few new players. They're definitely a team to watch, along with AC Milan. So it's going to be looks like it's going to be a very tight league in Serie A again. A few teams really strengthened. Obviously, Napoli are winners so far, but I'm sure Roma, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus are all going to be hot on their heels. And whether there be a new contender like Fiorentina or Hellas Verona who can win this cup, it could be interesting. And probably one of the best leagues to watch other than the Premier League. So yeah, that's a quick roundup. Obviously, as we get more into the season, we'll probably go into more of the depth. But it's difficult to see how some of these leagues are going to shape up and who is going to be fighting for the trophies after 1 game. But yeah, definitely a lot of good football that's coming up. So yeah, let's go over some transfers. As always, we'll go through the confirmed transfers. There has been a lot, obviously, as the season starts to ramp up. Teams want to get their business done. So yeah, let's have a look. So on Monday, Moises Caicedo was confirmed to Chelsea from Brighton. Jack Harris joined Everton on loan, and James Ward-Prowse joined West Ham, with Kepa Arrizabalaga going to Real Madrid and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain going to Besiktas. David Raya joined a season-long loan with an option to buy from Arsenal. He went from Brentford to Arsenal, and Neymar joined Al Hilal for 78 million from PSG. Notable loans to the Football League: Kelsey Cassidy went from Chelsea to Leicester. I believe he scored on his debut. Billy Elliott joined Reading on loan. And Harvey Vale joined from Chelsea to Bristol Rovers on loan. Tom Davies joined Sheffield United from Everton on a free. Chuba Akpom joined Ajax from Middlesbrough. Santi Cazorla joined Real Oviedo. OJ went on loan from Cardiff to KV Cortoro. Tim Krul joined Luton for an undisclosed fee. Tony Troydini joined Forest Green for free. Nicholas Sanolier joined Aston Villa on loan from Galatasaray. And Endo joined Liverpool from Stuttgart, and Romeo Lavia joined Chelsea from Southampton. Hakim Ziyech went on loan to Galatasaray, and Mitrovic has joined Al Hilal for an undisclosed fee. And Taylor Adams has joined Bournemouth from Leeds after his move to Chelsea fell through. So yeah, a lot of big transfers. Obviously, Neymar moving, Moises Caicedo. Obviously, we had Harry Kane last week. Labia's all gone. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to see all of these big transfers starting to a lot of money spent, especially still in the Saudi League. Could be interesting to see how Fulham do without Mitrovic. Tottenham are seen to do well without Harry Kane, but Harry Kane obviously scored 20-30 goals for them per season. So whether they can find someone to replace that, it's going to be interesting to see. Cancelo is likely to join Barcelona on a season-long loan. Chelsea have made contact with Arsenal over striker Balogun. Nunes Torreira's move to Nottingham Forest from Arsenal has looked to fall through, and Gunners have no intention to sell Thomas Partey and minus interest from Saudi Pro League and Juventus. Crystal Palace is set to make a surprise move for Dean Henderson if he is unlikely to stay. West Ham have made a bid for Mohamed Kudus, but was rejected by Ajax. West Ham have agreed a fee of 90 million with Stuttgart for Greek defender Maponras. Might have pronounced that very wrong. The Hammers are interested in Martial, but is unlikely to be able to compete with the financial capabilities of Saudi Arabia club, who are keen on the 27-year-old. Goalkeeper Mark and Sturken is close to signing a new contract with Barcelona, who would keep him there until 2028. Sheffield United are exploring a loan deal for Origi. Celtic are now best placed to re-sign Arsenal left-back Kieran Tierney after Newcastle ended their interest in the Scotland defender. Wan-Bissaka will not leave United this summer, as he wants to fight for his place at Old Trafford, but neither Donny van der Beek and Brendan Williams could leave, are not to consider for selection. Eric Bailly could depart Manchester United with talks with Fulham. Leeds plan to sell their goalkeeper before the end of the summer. Liverpool have called their interest in João Fenio over the £90 million price tag from Fulham. Saudi Pro League Al Ahly are pushing to sign Verratti, with the agreement between club and players already in place. And Inter Milan are pushing to sign Benjamin Pavard from Bayern Munich, but Thomas Tuchel wants to keep the 27-year-old defender. Wolfsburg are interested in Wolves forward Hang Hee Chang-hee. South Korean international became a substitute during Saturday's 4-1 defeat at home, and scored their first goal of the season. 27-year-old has experience in Germany after a season-long loan with Hamburg and spells with RB Leipzig before moving to Wolves. Forest have agreed a deal for Seville right-back Montella. Laporte is in advanced moves to join Al Nassr and Ronaldo. Everton are close to signing a £15 million deal for Ched Adams. Brentford winger Kanzos is close to joining Valencia. So some of the transfer rumours are starting to wrap up now. Obviously, as we draw to the end of the transfer window, just over about 12 days left. Obviously, the transfer window in the UK ends around the 1st of September, and in most leagues, so a lot of business still to happen. Still a lot of money likely to happen, obviously, especially on deadline day. But yeah, definitely an interesting one to see. If you want to keep up to date with all the latest transfers, please check out the Pitchsider on our Twitter and our Instagram, which is the Pitchsider. Also check out our website for all the latest transfer rumours and gossip and latest articles. Hopefully there should be one up there very soon. So thank you for listening. Hope you had a great week. Enjoyed all the football. Definitely a lot has happened this week. So have a fantastic week, and we look forward to seeing you next week as the season really pushes on and the transfer window nearly draws to a close. Have a nice week, and thank you for listening.
For all the latest news, transfers, and football articles, check out thepitchsider.com. It's the place to be. Contact us on our socials. Instagram and Twitter is @thepitchsider, or via email is thepitchsider@hotmail.com.